Our guest for today is Vaibhav Mono. He's an ideal Sharma Ji's kid because he has pursued his BTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Bombay. He's worked for 2 years and after that went on to pursue MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. He has recently completed his MBA and will be joining a consulting firm in the Dubai office very soon. Today, we are here to understand how exactly did Vaibhav make these life choices and career choices? How was his mindset when he was in school and learn some life lessons from him? So let's get to it. Hi, Vaibhav. Thank you so much for joining me today. We would like to know about your early educational journey in detail. So, how exactly did you make the decision of becoming an engineer? And there must have been a time when you were in school when you must have been confused about what to do in life. So, how exactly did you transition from that clueless stage to a confident stage?
First of all, hi Kushbu, thanks for inviting me to the podcast. I think back in my time, we did not have that much awareness nor these sessions, to guide us through our career choices. So this is a great initiative, and happy to be a part and help in any way possible wherever I can. So continuing with my journey, so I did my 10th schooling from Jodhpur, Rajasthan, went to Jaipur for my JEE preparations. I had a single aim of getting into IIT Bombay. That was the only aim. There was no branch, there was no other college in my mind.
How old were you when you decided that you want to get into IIT Bombay?
So I think it was back in ninth or 10th standard that I decided, that I want to pursue my further studies at a college like IIT Bombay. So that is
Okay.
where I decided. But I think nowadays people decide a lot earlier,
Earlier. Yeah,
when they
yeah.
take
And
their choices.
I just want to take a step back.
Yeah.
What made you decide why that fascination towards the IIT Bombay? What made you decide I want to go there? Why not any other college?
Any other college? Yeah. So when I went to Jaipur for my JEE preparations and all, there was a lot of fuss about the IIT tag. And when it came
Hmm.
to IIT tag, there were really only two colleges that stood out at that time, which were IIT
Right,
Bombay
right.
and Delhi.
Hmm.
I have seen my seniors, their posters and everything got into
Hmm.
IIT Bombay, got into IIT Delhi. That's where the fascination began. And then Mumbai was my dream city to get into. After coming from Jodhpur, which is a tier one, two city in Rajasthan, you have a high aspiration of going into a metro city. So
Correct.
Bombay was my final aim, and that's how the IIT Bombay fascination kicked in.
Okay.
Right. So from my sixth and seventh, we did not have any such guidance or any such program where we could understand what we wanted to go ahead with. Back in my time, it was I think 2008 and 9. If we talk about sixth and seventh standard, there was a lot of herd behavior going on. If you are good at maths, if you're good at science, go pursue engineering. If you're good at so and so,
Hmm.
go pursue so and so field.
Hmm.
But there was no proper rationale, no proper reasoning, no proper, you know, career guidance sessions or anything of what you are actually getting into. Neither did students have that much knowledge, neither did teachers, neither parents, and they did not know whom to connect to, whom to go about it. So,
Hmm.
in my
Hmm.
case as well, it was kind of like a herd behavior. I was good in science and maths, took it ahead, got into IIT, and then from there on it began.
Got it. So there was no proper thought as to why engineering. You happened to be at an event and there was a lot of buzz and a lot of conversation about a particular college, and without even thinking about what is that course really going to, where is that course exactly going to take you or what that means for your life, you got into that, prepared for it, and got into the college and got into whichever branch was
Correct,
offered via your rank.
correct, correct.
Okay. And how did life after engineering look like? What exactly did you do after mechanical engineering?
It's been a roller coaster since then. When I got into IIT Bombay, I thought we'll study mechanical, we'll study the core subject and everything. during the first 2 years of my engineering life, I understood that this is the subject that is not meant for me. I can study, I can ace it, but it is not something that I wanted to pursue my entire career in. So
Right.
then I started, diverting into other fields. I started exploring other fields, which were basically finance, analytics, things like that, which were not into the core engineering part, but were complementary with the skill sets that are required in engineering. So I started diverting more of my time into these activities.
So you started exploring other fields while you were pursuing engineering itself, like in the second or the third year?
Correct. Yeah. So from the start of my second and third year, I started applying for the club applications, which are basically finance and analytics club. I started applying
Right.
for internships which were in these areas. I did couple of my internships there with big firms. These
Hmm.
are like the stepping stones of how you how you build your career and go ahead in these fields. And that is how I got I actually liked finance a lot when I was exploring during
Okay.
internships and everything.
Hmm.
And that's where I made the decision that I wanted to pursue it for a few years, couple of years, to see what all it is about when you step into the corporate, proper full-time corporate world. So that's where I got my first job at Deutsche Bank from campus placement itself.
Okay. And when you were in second or third year, who particularly suggested you that, hey, you should explore finance because it's so different from engineering?
Yeah.
How did that thought cross your mind?
Yeah. So there were basically two major reasons I went into exploring at the first place. One was that I did not like my core engineering as such. The second one was because you get into a college like IIT Bombay, you had a very good alumni network. You have
Hmm.
seniors, you have people who are into this field from a long
Hmm.
time. So I started reaching out to people who were from the club itself, who were past members of the club, who are now into this field in their full-time role, and asking them what is it about, what are the resources out there, what is the skill set that is required, how is the
Hmm. Hmm.
future scope going to look like. So these were like the basic 4 or 5 questions that I wanted to get an answer out of from them, to get an understanding whether it is suited for me or not. So that's how I started preparing, like whether to go about it or not.
Right. So you seeked out mentorship basically. Mentorship is what helped you understand what you
Absolutely.
were good at and what you should have pursued ahead. Got it. Do you have any regrets about your career choices?
I have one. I'm kind of learning to cope up with it. The one is I did not make a very good and informed decision when going about with my branch choice. My
Hmm.
branch was mechanical engineering. I knew nothing about what exactly I'm getting into.
Correct.
So, if given a chance, if going back and seeing the trends now, I would have probably got into like computer science at a relatively lower IIT, could be IIT KGP,
Hmm.
Kharagpur or Roorkee, Kanpur, or somewhere like that. But could have done my BTech in computer science. That's one regret, but it's okay. I'm
Right.
coping with it.
Yeah, you probably took away some hard-working IIT Bombay aspirant seat, and that poor chap had to study in IIT Kharagpur, I guess, because you took away his seat. But I hope karma forgives you for that.
I hope
But
he's doing well,
moving,
because now it's the computer science era.
yeah, I hope that chap is doing well. So you said that if you could go back in your school time, you would make an informed choice, and perhaps, given the trend, you would probably explore computer science.
Yeah.
So what steps do you think you would have followed back then to make an informed choice?
Yep, sure. Like thinking now, it seems like pretty obvious, but we do not have that awareness back then. But going back, I would basically probe around 3 or 4 major points around each of these subjects, be it mechanical, electrical, electronics, communication, computer science, anything. How much time do you require to get very good at this particular skill or this particular branch? What are the basic skill sets that is required? What is the future scope of this entire branch, and how is the growth opportunity? Things like that. When you probe into questions like this for each and every branch, you actually get certain answers which help you only eliminate certain choices from your list of entire choice. So you narrow down on your list of where do you actually want yourself to be in. So I think that's
Correct.
one way I would have looked about it. And
Hmm.
but yeah, fast is fast.
Makes sense. What were some of the things you did back in school which helped set your mindset or grow your personality into the way it is today, other than for academics?
Okay, so I was highly competitive when it came to academics. I really enjoyed each and every problem. Basically, if it of mathematics, I enjoyed
Hmm.
mathematics thoroughly. So uh, things like going into hobby classes where you have these abacus, Vedic maths. I applied for each and every these Olympiads or competitive exams that were out there. So these were the areas where I thought that my mind would function better. I would have a because I had that urge to get into the top 1, 2, 3 rank. I would outperform myself each and every time and would grow. So that is one thing that I kept on doing during my early days, and I think that has shaped me, in which I particularly like to give my 100% in whatever I pursue, whether it is any project, whether it is any gig, anything. Even if it is like going to any particular hobby class like guitar or swimming, etc. I like to give my
Right,
100% to overcome it.
right. Makes sense. So these days, you must have come across a lot of IIT aspirants who do not get the desired IIT, say they wanted the top three IITs and they did not get that. They often tend to repeat a year instead of moving on and taking that particular option. So what message would you have for these kind of kids?
Yeah, this is one of the most asked questions that I've got from my juniors as well, from my, the place where I did my coaching from, juniors from my school also. I asked them, like, there are a couple of ways to look at it. One is don't just look about at the college itself. It is a choice of college and the branch that you're going into. Going into a very high and a very good college with a very low branch is not a very good option as compared to stepping down one branch or stepping down one college and having a 2 or 3 degree above branch. So that is one thing that I always ask my juniors to look at it is take it as a combination. There will be trade-offs, but you have to take it like a combination. Second is go and before taking any decision, go and reach out to your seniors, to the people who are into this field and who are from your college itself. You have a
Hmm.
very good now, a space where you can go and search out for people, which is LinkedIn.
Right.
You can drop any of them a cold text, cold email, and probably like if you drop 10% that email, probably one or two will reply, and you will get your
Absolutely.
answers back. I think that's a
Yep.
very
Yep.
good way of deciding where, if you have like a choice or a trade-off, that's a very good way of deciding the pros and cons of all the things possible. When you do that, there's information that you are getting, and that's how you take a very informed decision and a very calculated risk decisions, even if it is a risky one. You do not have
Correct.
that regret moving from there because you got all the information and you took the decisions from that.
Correct. So your suggestion would be to reach out to somebody who's already been there, done that, and understands that
Absolutely.
space. So mentorship again, and
Yes.
LinkedIn is a way where students can reach out. to such folks and figure
Yes.
out if, they should. So basically, they shouldn't take the decision of dropping a year just by themselves or discussing with their probably teachers, etc. They should talk to somebody who has been in those colleges and then make that choice.
Yep. Yep. Because dropping a year is like a whole year gap that you need to in future explain to your employers or someone why did you miss out on an entire year or what exactly did you pursue in that entire year. So that's a
Right.
huge thing, and it's also a domino effect. If you take any wrong decisions in the beginning, where it will affect you in the future, you'll never know. It's kind of a domino or what we call butterfly effect. So yeah, it's a very important decision to take. So have as many inputs as possible from your seniors, from your teachers, from your peers, mentors, everyone, from wherever you can. Okay.
Right, right. What would be your final words of wisdom for our school students and their parents?
School students, I think looking back at my life, I would have certain things to say to the parents only. One is don't rush your kids into doing something. They will have they will have a journey of their own. If you apply too much pressure on that, that journey will get distorted. It's no use of applying that you need to go into this particular college, you need to get into this particular college. It will only apply more pressure. It will reduce his or her calm during the examination day, and that's not something that is required during those tense periods. So one thing is don't apply undue pressure. Let the learning be free. Let the learning be wholesome for the students there. That's one thing. And for students, it's okay to be confused, be a little anxious about where you will end up, because it's very uncertain in the end. You might get a very good college, a very good branch, and end up making certain mistakes at a certain point, leading to leading you into a certain direction. It's okay for that. It's uncertain, but you should understand that you have now all these resources available that you can tap into and maximize the chances of you getting into the right path. So that's the confidence that the students should have in themselves now, because they have these resources available. They have this awareness now. I think these are the two major.
So you'd suggest to make optimum use of their existing resources, and for parents, you have a suggestion like do not put a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
Ensure that you're starting the decision of, the career question mark on time, but do not take a lot of pressure.
correct. Yeah.
Right. That was wise indeed. Thank you so much, Weber, for joining us today and sharing your valuable insights. It was great to have you here.
Thanks, Kushbu. Thanks.